Connor, the Jets released Davante Adams, no trade there. It's mean that we'll talk about in our final segment where we think he's going to go, but how much of a kind of package deal do you think he is with Rodgers, or is that just, that's gone?
I thought for a while that was absolutely the deal. And the last couple of days, I've changed my mind on that.
Really? Okay.
I think the reason being is Rodgers' options are so limited, and Davante's aren't. And Davante will get paid, again, not $32 million a year, but he'll get a good contract somewhere for a contender. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think will get either. I don't think he'll sign with a contender unless he waits for an injury, like you said, Matthew, which we don't know. And I don't think he's looking to get paid again in that capacity. Davante will have calls from, I believe, maybe Green Bay again. We know the Chargers are on this list. And he might want to go back to the West Coast. There's just more in the court for Davante than Rodgers, where he doesn't have to hitch his wagon to him again in a situation that, hey, I'm at the end of my career. I don't want to be on a team that's projected to lose.
I had heard that they were sort of tied. You're closer to that situation than I am, but I had heard at the Combine that they were sort of tied together, that Adams wants to, if nothing else, Adams wants to wait to see where Rodgers lands to potentially reunite with him. I'm with you. You know, like, if Rodgers goes to the Giants and he's got a shot to play with Justin Herbert on the Chargers, you know, then right. But I do think there's a scenario where, because he chased the money, right? He got it. He went to the Raiders, and that was a bad situation, and then went to the Jets, and that wasn't a great situation as well. I will say this: it is despite the fact I've seen some people refer to it as a you know, overflowing free agent class for wide receivers. And it is, but it isn't, because there's not a lot of great players out there. I mean, when you sit there and you look at, you know, the Christian Kirks of the world, we talk about Chris Godwin coming off of an injury, Stephon Diggs coming off of an injury. Like, Davante Adams is still an elite player, proved last year he's still at the highest level, with T. Higgins being franchised, with Deebo Samuel now being traded, with the expectation, we'll see it, we'll talk about Godwin in a second, but Mike, with the fact that DK Metcalf is, might be traded, and we'll talk about that.
I'm about to say, who out there is better than Davante Adams, free agent-wise?
Right, exactly.
So, I don't even think he's close.
No, and there's not a Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr. There's not a wide receiver in this class that everyone's like, that kid can't miss.
Right.
That's like an elite. That's at that level. So I do think, to your point, Davante Adams is going to have a lot of choices, because there's a lot of thirsty wide receiver teams out there. I mean, the Texans. Could the Texans say, like, look, Diggs is hurt, Tank Dell's hurt, we need somebody else in opposite Nico?
I think it's going to be a lot of musical chairs. Like, certain guys are going to have, like, you have to, a receipt, like, I feel like Davante Adams is going to have to see where DK Metcalf get traded to. Aaron Rodgers is going to have to see where Sam Darnold goes, and vice versa, stuff like that.
I think it's relevant for all of this that the Chargers cut Joey Bosa yesterday and created an extra $25 million in cap space, and they have around almost $90 million in cap space now, and they're one of these wide receiver teams. And we'll talk about them when we talk about DK Metcalf later in the rundown, Matt.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.